Hi, this is Fred, and welcome to another video. We're heading out to Los Gatos. And this is an apartment complex or a community HOA. That's what it looks like, and so we can see. So this project entails the ceiling, coating, and restriping. This is a maintenance service. It's recommended every 3 to 4 years to keep your pavement in great shape. This service entails filling all the cracks, sealing and waterproofing, making sure water doesn't seep through the cracks, and it increases the lifespan and longevity of your pavement surfaces. So it's really important that we do this on schedule, because if not, then eventually you'll have to replace and do more costly repairs that involve excavation and repaving the damaged surfaces. So it's always good to stay in top shape with the scheduled maintenance. So right now we're gonna start off with the square footage, and this square footage here via satellite is fairly accurate, and as far as it's basically the starting point to gather a price point and prepare a bid and a proposal to send out to the clients. This process, helps you get like your information really quick and fast without having to wait and delaying the process. So it's very accurate and fast. So that's what we like, doing it this way. And let's see, we find that our clients like it a lot. So if you're an HOA board member, the president of an HOA, homeowners association, or in charge of managing a property, maintenance, janitorial, etc., I recommend you take a look at doing this service every 3 to 4 years. It's better to do it sooner before it's too late. When you start developing alligator crackings or lightning cracks, or the surface starts to erode, the rocks and the pebbles and the aggregate starts to be exposed, and then they eventually start coming out of the pavement. That's a sign that you really have to pay attention to your surfaces. Not only are they a hazard and a liability, but people can walk and slip on these pebbles on the aggregate. Once the aggregates start coming loose, you step on them, they become like really slippery. You can just slip and fall. So, and they're very unsightly. That makes the property looks run down. Doesn't make it look professional, and so forth. So if you're leasing apartments, or just the values of your HOA community, brings it down considerably. So the square footage for this is roughly 23,000 square feet. 23,000 square feet. And so this is a project that we'll be sending out a pricing for. But I wanted to come out here and make a little video, giving you some information, some tips, and so forth. So sealing and coating, I'm going to show you an intro video right now what sealing and coating is, with a few clips of what the service entails. It entails, like I mentioned, first and foremost, the surface has to be very, very clean. It has to be power blown, swept. Where there's weeds coming out of the cracks, we need to manually, or with a weed whacker, just slash them out, remove any dirt in the cracks and crevices, power blow it, power brush it as necessary, sometimes even power wash it. So there's many types of cleaning that we have to do to the pavement in order for this coating to adhere. and to make it completely weatherproof. Weatherproof means, completely sealed, like you would seal a rooftop. You want to make sure there's no leaks on a rooftop. The same thing with your pavement. You have to make sure it's sealed, weatherproof, leak proof. No water goes underneath the asphalt, because then that's when you start getting settling, ponding, crumbling surfaces, and eventually the gradual deterioration worsens and the cycle speeds up, and then you end up with a big bill down the road. So after the surface is cleaned, and it's just pretty much no dirt, no oil stains. Also, sometimes in apartments, tenants have their vehicles leaking oil. That prevents this coating to adhere to the asphalt surfaces. So we have to make sure we clean that thoroughly. And then after it's cleaned, then we start with filling all the cracks with a special formula for cracks. This formula for cracks, it's like a liquid asphalt that goes deep into the cracks, and it seals all the cracks, and it expands and contracts with the heat and the cold. So when the summer comes around and it gets really, really hot, it prevents from having gaps. When it expands and contracts, it expands and contracts with the crack itself. Also, when the freezes in winter, when it comes, it expands and contracts with the actual crack itself. So this is very important. Now, also, after all the cracks are filled, a side point from that, alligator cracks cannot be treated with this crack filling. This crack filling is specifically for isolated cracks or lightning cracks. Those lightning cracks, that just you can see on the surface, and those can be treated and repaired. Now, when it comes to alligator cracks are those like very close clustered cracks that are just spidered all together, clustered in different sections. These are basically like a cancer. They start spreading out further, and it's due to unstable subbase and base for that pavement. The foundations of the pavement, basically, they're becoming weak, settling. Water's just seeping through when it rains, or when they either turn on the sprinklers, or when there's any water, it just runs down through all these alligator cracks, and then it gets worse and worse and worse. So it's just like a really vicious, terrible cycle. So when you get alligator cracks, which is this cluster of cracks that we talked about, you have to cut out a whole square around all the damaged area and excavate it all out, compact and rework the base, and then new hot mix asphalt. So this is when we start raising up the cost, the repair cost, and the maintenance cost for your pavement. So we want to avoid these as much as possible. When you start getting alligator cracks, don't wait. Don't let it get worse. Don't let it spread out like a cancer, because it just keeps spreading out. The damaged area gets worse and worse. It makes it spreads out further out because water starts going in, and the water, as it goes in, it just spreads underneath the asphalt, and as the water spreads underneath, it makes the surrounding base weaker and weaker, and then you get muddy undergrounds. And I've been to projects where this has been the same thing for many, many years, for over 8-10 years. And then, when we were called out to do a basic repaving, just remove and repave, a full overhaul, the bottom was so muddy with so many years of accumulated water draining through all these cracks that we couldn't get it dry and ready for it to be paved over it. We had to treat the soil with lime, and treating the soil with lime, it takes time. It's time consuming. It delays the project. It's costly for the owners. Also, the tenants get upset because they have to park outside in the street. They have no parking. Their assigned parking space, they can't use it because we teared up all the asphalt inside the parking lot. So it becomes like a whole a conflict all around. And yeah, so we treated this, when this happens, like at this project, one of them, we had to treat it with lime, and then the lime wouldn't work as fast as possible. It was just about to start winter, and we don't want to wait longer and then expect have an unexpected rain come at us, because then it's gonna make everything worse and delay it even longer. So we installed, we excavated as much as we could, a little bit of the muddy soil, which is again very expensive to excavate soil and throw away soil, especially when it's muddy. And then we laid new base rock, and then we laid also fabric, which is a soil stabilization fabric, and then after that more base rock, and then after that we had to install, because it was still somewhat unstable, we had to also install, after the base rock, 3/4 asphalt, hot mix asphalt mix. 3/4 is usually like the big rock. This is usually for like heavier loads, heavier trucks, traffic, usually highways, freeways, or roads. They use like the bigger rocks because they have like a stronger load bearing capacity. So in this case, we had to install this bigger rock, just to everything works together, and everything would work together to make this a good installation. But yeah, overall, these are things that you want to avoid. Don't wait for years and years on end and let water continue doing its damage, because water is one of the main pains out there for a lot of property owners and managers. Um, Water is one of the uh, main issues all around. But anyways, yeah, so that's the video for today. I'm gonna go ahead and prepare a bit for this client, this ceiling coating and striping client, 23,000 square feet in Los Gatos. And if you're someone that's interested in how maintaining your property can save you money, get in touch with us. We're here to help. These videos are made for us to help you, to give you advice, counsel, tips on your journey, so that you can be successful managing your properties. So this is Fred signing off, and I'll talk to you again in the next one. Take care. Bye.